Hi guys, and welcome to a brand new vlog. So, um, on Friday, my daughter came back with which one was this? Is May. So she came back with these star of the week for dancing and singing with enthusiasm, and this one, which is progress on her her swimming, um stroke development, right? And in May, so that's July, in May she had gotten this one. So Uluhle came back with those certificates. Ne? Dili para, I look like a para, it's a public holiday, I just got my voice back. I am so excited to be here. Nonetheless, I want to share what her bringing the certificates kind of triggered, right? We are not people, my husband and I are not people who like display our achievements. So as in our wall of where we have our degrees and stuff, as yeah. And so and also just generally I think we adopted, for different reasons and with our different contexts, we adopted a very be timid about your achievements thing, né? And as I said, for different reasons, because our upbringings were not the same. But so by tools we're like that. We don't have a lot of pictures in the house, even pictures of ourselves. We don't have qualifications and all of these things, like, yeah. But I think that's going to change because I individually am changing as a person. And so she brought these on Friday, and I thought, we've never actually displayed a certificates galuhle, so I just put them on our bookshelf, just in G. Yeah. And this morning she wanted to Luhle loves art and she loves drawing and writing, so she wanted a blank paper, which we get like we get that pack, yeah, A4, and then she just takes a paper and does whatever it is that she wants to do. So she wanted those, but she was struggling to take it out because they're going to mess in the stand. So I just decided, let me clean out the stand, and maybe take things out unplanned. But this is what I want to show you. Out of doing that, I got reminded of the different things that I have achieved, right? And I just want to do this not only for my future self, but I want to do this for someone who just struggles to acknowledge who they are, how good they are at certain things, what and how far you've come, probably more importantly. So on Saturday, and I'm going everywhere, but on Saturday, my husband has been asking me to do his nails for 2 years. And the last time I did his nails was 2 years ago. And for 2 years, he's been complaining. We literally have an entire nail bar in the house. And I have reasons why I have not been doing those nails. And again, somebody has and really, it's more than anything, is that when I get time out, I really want to be intentional about resting, because I don't get that time to rest. However, I decided on Saturday, because Godala dimamele manethetintwenye, and I suppose it does something to him, because I have personally given him a voucher as his obey that included all different treatments that he could have: a haircut, nails, massage, etc. My husband only went for a haircut, and he left that voucher. So the more that he spoke about this thing, it was registering in my mind that me doing his nails is not actually about doing nails. It's just that He just wanted to do his feet, but I was like, I'll do your hands and feet. So I did that. My daughter also wanted her nails to be done, so I did her feet because she doesn't do hands. And she wanted different shades of pink. And I also did my nails, which are these. Now, in me doing these nails, I shared them with a friend of mine, and she says, how is it possible that one person has so much juice in them? And it's on the basis of that comment. How is it possible that someone has so much juice in them that I am sharing these? I'm sharing these because, and this was my response to her, that when we experience who God is in his true nature and allow for him to move us, to shape us, to mold us, to break us, we become everything that God had designed us to be. And God, before anything else, as a father, yes, a lover, a friend, he is a creator. And so I'm sharing this with you, but I'm also sharing it as a reminder of how far I've come to show you that God is a creator. These are my 2 qualifications. I don't know which is which between the 2 of them, but it is my undergrad and my honors degree. I got my degrees from Rhodes University. I was at Rhodes until master's level, and I'll share that video probably another time. At master's level, in my second year of master's, I quit my degree. I was doing a master's in development studies within sociology, and I was looking at the concept of access to education for born frees. So yeah, I was just at data collection stage when I quit those masters. But these are the 2 degrees. I already recorded a video where I'm talking about the masters, né? And you only will get that later, probably next year or something. But I've recorded it because I want that story to be out there and to just showcase my journey. So these are my 2 degrees. Now, as a person who always believed that they were more academically inclined than they were creative, everything else I'm going to show you has been out of, these are God's creation. Now, it's God who made it possible for me to go to that university. It's God who opened the doors. I got to see my potential in ways I never imagined, and I love education. But I always knew that ingqondo is my superpower in terms of being academically inclined and going through the traditional ways of studying, right? Everything else that's happened after that, it has nothing to do with my belief in myself, but everything to do with the fact that I surrendered my life to God. So I often share my coaching journey with my clients. I don't think I've shared it in any social media platform, but I always share it with my clients. When a client comes on board, we have a discovery call, and when we have the discovery call, I always talk about who I am as a coach and where my coaching skill and gift comes from. And so coaching was never part of the plan. I thought I would be a traditional girl who goes to varsity. I actually wanted to study law, and I did study law. I majored in law. To quit law, not quit law because I finished the degree and I finished Dial-Makhubalo, but I decided to not go through the entire LLB stream and all of that. Maybe I will. It is my desire to do the LLB just for control, because yes, time is gone. But then God along the way dropped coaching, which I believe is one of the biggest gifts to me, which is to journey with people. And as you can see, this file is my coaching Bible, and it is coach training and leadership development. I have a certification in being a coach, as well as in leadership development. And it's interesting that my coaching journey, I just called myself a life coach. And I think I was minimizing who I am, my capacity, my capability for many reasons. Yeah. But the coaching thing came out of me authoring a book. Now, this is one of 4 books. Now, I'm saying 3 books because this book, Love Unscripted and Masterpieces, I wrote all at the same time. But prior to those 3 books that I wrote at the same time was a book called My Pain Perfected. I'm not proud of the fact that I don't have all copies of my books. And there is a friend of mine who literally in her book shelf has got a compartment that's just for my books, and she has all of my books, and I think she sent me a picture of all of the books, so I'll share them. I wrote My Pain Perfected, which is my first book, and through My Pain Perfected I started being invited to come and speak about the book. I started being invited to come speak about the book, and my gift for speaking, captivating an audience, being able to hold a room and hold space, then came out. And through that, I then started being like a professional speaker. And through being a professional speaker, people would ask me, are you a coach? Are you a coach? And at that point in time, coaching was not a thing. Coaching, coaches as a corner. Young man baga have a life. And I was just like, definitely not. And fast forward a few years later, I started researching about coaching, and it's probably after the 3rd, 4th time where I was asked, are you a coach, where I listened and decided, this is something I'm going to do. And so my coaching journey then began post being an author and then a speaker, right? Now I'm talking about different things that require different skills in a person, and that's all me. Lambozo Busiti, how can one person have so much juice? Now, okay, so now I've basically told you I am a multiple degree holder. I've told you that I am an author. I've told you that I'm a speaker. I've told you that I'm a leadership coach, and I'm completing a degree actually in leadership coaching. So this certification took a year and a half to complete, and now I'm doing a degree in leadership coaching, adding to my skill set for coaching, right? But through it all, I've never stopped learning. I've never stopped learning. This is one of the many courses that I've done, and I've done this. I've done a coaching course in women leadership. I've done, there's a leadership one, so it's just a short course, I think about 12 weeks. There's a leadership one that I did, there's one in women leadership, and there's this one. As I'm saying, this thing has been sitting ekabatin now. I don't know why don't I have the other 2 certificates? I don't know, or maybe they're digital, and yes, but anyway, I've done those 3 through a coach at LMI. And this is adding to some courses that I did while I worked as a researcher, which was specifically geared at research. Okay, and then as someone who didn't believe that she is gifted in being creative and all of that, I often say to people that the reason why I do my own nails is not because andifuna ukhupha imali, and most people think it's because andifuna ukhupha imali. It is what the process of doing my nails does for me, which is to calm me. But I think it also activated my creative what would I say, creative compartments within my brain, né? Because the more that I started doing, particularly because I have to use my left hand to do elqal, and I'm right-handed, né? And the more that I activated my creative juices, was the more God expanded me. This is my first ever coaching course that I developed myself. And I created this thing myself on Canva. This. I then Donnie upgraded it to this, but Pursuit of Freedom is the first course I ever created. Maybe not the first course I ever created. I think the first course that I'll say I ever sold, yes, because I've had free online masterclasses and all of that. But this is the first course that I ever created, sold, and then also created a tool, right? Me, I never thought I could do that. So this is the first. Now you would know that I have a podcast called Pursuit of Freedom. Pursuit of Freedom is a thing. It's a whole thing. And I'm excited or maybe it's also important to mention this, that I'm also sharing these things with you because I am on a journey with God where I am rebuilding from scratch, or building from scratch with God. And what I mean by building from scratch with God is building the things that He had commanded me to do, build, start. Some I've started and not finished. Some I've started, got discouraged. Some I didn't start because of fear or feeling like I denied resources or whatever. But I'm building from scratch with God. And I think going through that cupboard and finding all of these things was such a Holy Spirit moment and a gentle reminder that God has my back and has me, because He's had me for so long. I can't remember when I launched these, but it was quite a while ago. So there's these. And then in 2023 or 2022, we were living in PE, and I had developed a course called Dare to Dream Again, right? And out of that, it wasn't a course, it was a full day kind of workshop. I then created this, back then it was worksheets, but I then created this workbook with the hope that I would do the course again. I haven't done that whole day course again, but this is one of the things that I had created. I've used it myself, but I haven't shared it with people, and yeah, we'll see what God says or does about that. No? And with that course, I said, right, it was worksheets that I was using at the time that I had created. We also got the ladies these notebooks, and these came, so it was a notebook, it was a scripture that I believe that God had breathed into each individual. It was the worksheets, and so they also had this. And actually someone in the past week, a friend of mine sent me hers, the notebook with that scripture, and she said, you know, like she always goes back to it. Interesting. And I didn't even know that I'd be doing this, but yeah. Okay. And then in 2023, Dare to Dream Again. Remember, it started as just a day workshop, né? I got an opportunity to do a full day workshop with a group of ladies from a a company that provides financial solutions, right? And it's primarily a Black-owned company, but I believe that they're scaling, you know, and they do financial solutions as well as asset management, I believe. And so I then took the concept of Dare to Dream Again and turned it into a corporate setup, and this was the opening of the book. So this is what it was. They did it for Women's Day. It's so interesting. I'm actually recording this the day after Women's Day, which is a public holiday. Dare to Dream Again workbook. Step into power, be, become, bloom. And then when you open it, it's got about the founder, and then yeah, and each lady actually had their name on the front page. So this was the first print, and then I decided the front bit, when a person opens the book, it's their name, because I think personalized things are always so great. And this was so instrumental because I had been coaching people from different organizations, but individually. And I'd also done team coaching. However, I hadn't done it at the scale of that workshop. And I was so proud of myself. Yeah, and we'll see what God does with this, right? And then I did another certification on financial coaching. And out of financial coaching, I then developed this workbook. I created a course, right, out of Pursuit of Freedom, and I wanted to make it kind of the money leg of it. That didn't go well. And as you would know, with anything in business, is that you try different things. And so this is one of the things that I created, but I absolutely did it. Like, for myself, like, yeah, so, and I think actually having done this 2024, having done this, I was able to expand my horizons in terms of the things that block me in making more money, being scared of money, and just growing my capacity in making more money, and not being scared of money. I think I may have said that, but yeah, this was yeah. And so one of the courses, so it's Pursuit of Freedom, but it's the financial thingy, hence the green. And at the time I created this particularly, I didn't have the name of what the course would be, but it had all to do with money mindsets and all of that. So we'll see. Okay, and then as we wrap up, so with my books also, when you would buy a book, you would have it come with this. It would be packaged in these with this, and there'd be a thank you letter. And actually I also found these, which I think I had used for candles for this workshop that I was talking about. So for the candles that were accompanying the gift bags that the ladies had in the online, in the corporate workshop, I'd done these, which is so cute. And then I also had done these because many years ago, before like coaching courses and stuff, I had wanted to create a beauty brand, like having scrubs and all of that, because for the most part I make my own scrubs. And so I had these printed so that I could put them in the containers. Those things are at storage, but I also found these, which I hadn't seen or paid attention to in such a long time. But again, not bad. And again, showing you that, like, we are creative. God created us to be creative. And yeah, I hope you're inspired to actually do whatever it is that God has called you to. Okay, so these thank you notes, as I mentioned in the books, you'd get a thank you note. It's not the same one, but these thank you notes were, which is the last course I created. Let me show you the old version. Mnagesana, I'm not a perfectionist, but I like excellence. And again, and there's Nama, excellence is, I definitely don't think it's nature. I think um I was nurtured into liking excellence, right? Yeah, I think I was nurtured into. I'm not sure about it being a natural thing of mine. But when we printed these journals, this is the last course I ever did. It's 2026 now. This is the last course I ever did before I went full-time into studying, and then eventually also got a job, which was just a contract really. And I've created a lot of courses, man, as you can see. But this has my heart. All of them have my heart. I mean, Pursuit of Freedom became an entire podcast. So all of them have my heart. But I think it's probably because I'm still in the process of becoming everything that God had downloaded in me when this was birthed. Maybe that's why it's close to my heart. And also because I feel I've got unfinished business with this, and as with everything I've shared with you, you know, I have unfinished business with my academics. I have unfinished business with some of the courses that I've created. Like in deny unfinished business. However, this was one of the first samples that we printed, and when we printed it, I looked at it and I was like, I don't like this yellow undertone. I don't know what it was, whether it was the printers that were being used or whatever, but I was like, we need to go back to edit. And this is literally the week we were supposed to start. And I said to all of the ladies, that, guys, I'm really sorry. You were supposed to have your journals before we start this journey. And I'm asking your permission that this becomes week 0, right? So we would then start week 1 on the following week, just so that you guys have better journals, because I didn't like how they came out. And look at that. I think that that's so much nicer. So paying attention to detail was the result of this. So Kamawande was the last course that I did, and this is the journal. And this, let me show you how it is inside. This was, okay, so inside it had the person's name. It had the person's name, so this was mine, obviously. And then it has the vision of the course, right? And then it had what your vision is as you begin, what are the things that you see, etc. And then after that, it has from week 1 till week 10. And this was week 1. I did that with God. I did that. Yeah, and these are like business cards, you know, business cards that were done. Man, umntu usuka kude, honestly. Umntu usuka kude. And so I wanted to share, yeah, I think that's it. I wanted to share all this with you guys to say, I don't know where many of us would have learned to hide ourselves. I know where I learned to hide myself, and to hide in plain sight, right? And hiding in plain sight became not only an armor for me, but it became so easy for me. And it also cultivated a spirit of mediocrity, a spirit of you can do things and uzenze nje, you know, just to get by. And I think this, for example, is one of the practical ways in which God has really cultivated a spirit of excellence in me. And I'm still recovering from being a mediocre person, or from the spirit of mediocrity, I would say, even though there's no such thing in the Bible. Proverbs speaks about being simple, right? And when you break that down, you get to see mediocrity in that. Sometimes we say we're simple people, we like simple things, and it's not simplicity. You're hiding in mediocrity. So I don't know where you, as you're watching this, would find yourself being mediocre or playing small or being like, you know, you can't do particular things or whatever. But I looked at all of these things, and some are not here, some are at storage, some are, because I remember, for example, with the course on money, I did this first version. And I had another better developed version, right? I just don't know where it is. And so I've just been on this journey where God is teaching me to improve myself and improve my life through, you know, his teachings, his ways, and the different places and spaces that he's allowed for me to dwell in and be in. And so as I share these things, I hope that you will also reflect on your things, the places you have worn, the places you have strived, the places you have started and not finished, the places that you've won in, whatever it is that God has done in you, through you. And even if you may be at home unemployed, but you have the degree that shows that for a number of years you committed to doing something that would better you as a person and better your life. Yes, it has not maybe brought the fruition of a job, but that shows God's capacity and capability through you. And so I hope, as I've shared all of these things, that to me are a reminder that uThixo mhle, uThixo mkhulu, uThixo is able, uThixo can restore, can revive. I hope that you also have that conviction for yourself, that ungaphinde uthathise apho ubuyeke khona. I really hope that the video has inspired you. Obviously, I'm looking crusty because I did this and I couldn't wait until Diva said make it to just share it because it felt so urgent. And so I hope in the midst of it all, you know how great you are, and you know how great God is through you, through the things that he's created in you. And I hope that you will pick up where you left off and go with God, and maybe journey with me as I rebuild with him. Have a good week.